Thank you, Madayln, for thank you, Madayln, for meeting me today. And this week is an exciting week for you.
Yes.
Yes. Tell us, why are you so excited?
I'm excited because I turned in my classroom keys for the last time. I feel weird, but excited.
Yes. How many years?
15 years. And I had planned on, I didn't know how I was going to stick it out, but I had planned on sticking it out, and like, I didn't have to.
Yes. So I just wanted to, celebrate that with you. And you started with me about 9 weeks ago. We're into our 10th week now in learning success coaching training. And by, 4 or 5 weeks, you were very confident.
I was rolling. By the fifth week, I was overwhelmed with the response to my coaching. And I was just like, okay, maybe I'll work with your second kid later. Like, I was overwhelmed at that point, but in a good way. It's good to be overwhelmed by your solution. So yeah.
Yes, that's a good problem.
Yeah, it's a good problem. I had a great problem.
Yeah, so since then you knew that this would be your last year, and even more special is because you're gonna homeschool your daughter, right?
Yes. Oh my goodness. And especially after everything that's gone on in the US, it was just confirmation for me that you're doing the right thing, you're walking in your purpose. And now, because you made the decision not to be trapped, but to walk into your purpose, now your daughter has an opportunity to bond with you and to learn from you and just to get a wonderful experience. So I'm just ecstatic. I really am.
Yes, and also safety, right?
Yes,
That's
yes,
been a
because
question.
it's an issue. It's an issue. All year long, my classroom door was broken. I mean, if somebody tried to get into my classroom all year long, they would have been able to, because I mean, we had people coming in to fix my door probably on a monthly basis, and still it just didn't work. So, and my kids asked me that question, my students asked me that question, Miss Allen, what happens if an intruder tries to get into our room? And I couldn't answer that for them. It was just terrible. But yes, thankfully for me and my family, that's not going to be an issue this year, thanks to learning success coaching.
Yes, and it came in the right time for you, and as you said, it just confirms what you're about to do is the right steps to take.
Absolutely.
Yes. And tell me, like, it's not easy decision, right? Because this is what I hear from a lot of teachers, is that there's the security, you are working for a corporation or the school systems, that's what you're told from a young age, get a reliable, stable job.
Yes.
Right? To leave that, there's a fear that will come along with it, right? But you're overcoming that. I mean, I don't want to say you don't have it, right?
That's right. I think it's normal to have those questions and to have those fears kind of creep up, but they're limiting beliefs. Like, that's all that they are at the end of the day. When I stepped out and I said, I'm going to stop believing what they tell me and I'm going to figure this stuff out for myself, the more I pushed into figuring these things out for myself, I'm like, that's not really job security over there. Like, that's that's not a guarantee. That uh I mean, looking at retirement, looking at, my health insurance, as an educator, stressed me out the whole time I was a teacher, because it was just trash. I don't know. I mean, it may not be like that for everyone, but I felt like, me and my husband both felt like this. We felt like, okay, we're paying all this money for health insurance during the school year, it's being pulled out of my check. And then we still have to pay gobs of money every time we walk into a doctor's office, every time we walk in to see a specialist. And it was just like, I stopped buying that lie early on this year. I'm like, there's got to be a better way, because if I have to spend this much money anyway, I'm going to spend it as my own boss. I'm not believing this anymore, because it's just been quite a ride for us with health insurance. We just haven't been able to see the benefits of it. But as we've stepped out, as I've stepped out, and learned about my other options and things of that nature. I feel like I should have been doing this all along. It was just that fear that was holding me. That I remember one time I tried to leave, and my superintendent, like I talked to my superintendent about it of the school district, and he was like, "No, this is the most secure spot you can be in." And I remember being offended. I'm like, nothing is secure about this. Like nothing, not even my own safety in the classroom. Nothing. I was so offended. And I remember after that, I said, I have to figure out a way to get out of here because like they're lying to me at this point. There's nothing secure about where I am. But again, that's something that I think every teacher, it's a journey every teacher has to go on. It takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of strength, but once you are able to get to the other side of that mountain and see, it's just amazing. It's an amazing feeling to know that you didn't have to buy into those limiting beliefs. You did,
Yeah.
it's just amazing.
Yeah, and society places on us, our parents, that's what they believe. There's nothing
Yes.
wrong with what they told us.
Yes.
Stable job means being with an organization,
My
right?
mom still thinks I'm crazy. Like
Yes.
she's still mad at me for quitting, and I'm like, but I'm bringing in more. Like she doesn't care because her mindset is it's a stable job. I'm like, but I didn't have any money. She still is like, I'm like, okay, mom, obviously you don't know math because I don't know. I don't know what you want from me.
And also the freedom, and
Yes.
and then the results you're going to give your students, right?
Yes.
You were always driven for that result, and you kind of that was part of you that was dying in the classroom.
Yes, yes. I almost felt like I was becoming dumber. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but I felt like I was becoming dumber, and I almost felt like unqualified for the position I had because I wasn't seeing results. You work and work and work to do it their way, and it doesn't work. Every time, I'm doing it your way, it doesn't work. I'm doing it your way, it doesn't work, and you start to internalize that and feel like it's you. Maybe you're just not the expert. Maybe you don't know how to read.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't know what you're doing. And the moment I stepped out and started to offer premium coaching to my students one-on-one, oh my goodness, I'm just like, I brought them today, Kohila. I'm like, look, y'all don't pay me enough for this. Yes, results driven. Like like this was me when I stepped out on my own. Like it was just like I got it. Results, 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 results. Um it's I don't even know. It's just like a miracle to me. It really is, and not just for the students I serve because I know they're going to get the results that they desire, but just for me, like my confidence level has just soared because I know I can help, my students reach their goals. I know that. I have no doubt about that now, and I wasn't sure in the classroom. I
Yeah.
just wasn't.
Yeah. And that's exactly what happens to students too, that prolonged failure, right?
Yes.
Repeated year after you do, and you then start questioning, is it my capabilities? Am I
Yeah.
capable of this, right?
Yeah.
And it's not different for teachers, the same thing. And we're always result driven, right? In money is as much as important.
Yes.
As a teacher, that's why you signed up, to change people's life.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. It's crazy because now I get to not only have the opportunity, to actually attain financial freedom, but I get to experience that feeling that every teacher longs for, and it's to meet student needs. I get to have that and financial freedom. Like this is insane. Like for real? Is this a joke? Am I being punked? Like it's just so exhilarating to know that you can have both of those. You don't have to be scammy, you don't have to be schemy. Like I'm extremely transparent with every family that comes to me for help. Extremely transparent. I tell them what it is. I tell them, what I believe their child needs to be successful. I make them the offer. I'm not nervous about it because I'm like, look, I'm the expert. You came to me for help. Here it is. And I told you this before, I just haven't even had an opportunity to practice with objections because I'm just so transparent. I'm like, here it is. Like, and they're like, okay. It's like when you educate the parents, And you tell them, what it is, they're like, okay, this is what I want. This is the solution to my problem. It's not nearly as hard as I thought it was going to be before I got started. Like I was like, I can't get on the discovery call. Like I was freaking out before, but once I just jumped and I did it, I'm like, this is easy. I'm just telling them what I do. And they can take it or they can leave it. It was so easy. It's nothing like your brain makes you, think is going to be like. It's nothing like that.
Because it's selling, right? That's
Yes.
another limiting belief that, when you sell someone, you have to hard sell them into something, but you're really not, you don't need to ever sell.
You're not hard selling because these parents are hurting. I can't tell you how many parents come to me in tears. They are hurting. They want to help their kids. They just don't know how. And by me providing that solution, there's just no objection to it. There's like, oh my goodness, you're the solution to my pain. Okay, let's do this. There is no selling in it. Like there's just none. You think there is when you're getting started, but that's because as educators, they make us feel like we're not competent enough to be able to teach our own classes, let alone take a child with a learning disability or a great reading struggle and do something with them. They make us feel like that. So our brain says, you can't do this. You have to sell this. You have to be gimmicky. You have to do this. You have to do that, and figure it out later. But nothing could be farther from the truth. Like it's not selling. You're serving. Like, and I didn't realize before I got started. But the moment I had my first discovery call, I'm like, oh, I'm good. Like, this is not selling. This is serving. I am serving you. And they are really, the parents are so happy about it.
Yeah. And when does a teacher get that moment in the classrooms when, like, a lot of the time the parents are against the teacher as if they're the bad person, right? And
I'm constantly selling the parents, even though I don't know where I'm selling them trash because, the curriculum is terrible. So, I'm selling them. I'm constantly in this position where I'm selling this broken system, and I know it's broke, and they know it's broke, and you feel like a dirty car salesman. That's how I felt in the classroom. I'm selling it to the parents, and I'm trying to sell it to the kids, and they ask me questions. Why are we doing this? And I can't answer because there's no point because it's stupid. Like, I haven't even sold it to myself. And so it just makes you feel like that, like the icky. Not that all car salesmen are icky, because there are a lot of really good car salesmen with integrity. But for me, it just didn't work for me. I just felt like I was lying to everybody. I really did.
Yes, and that's the best part of what you're going to be doing rest of your career, whenever that retirement comes, whenever you want. Yeah. But I want to go back to this, buying your own, like I like to joke around with some of the teachers I meet is that, only you have to worry when you're sick in the classroom and you're stressed and you're fearful of, what's happening in life, you're going to get sick. But as a learning success coach, when you have control, when you're in demand, when you have freedom, you might be less sick in your life, and your insurance might not be that costly, and you're going to make enough money to buy the right insurance for you versus an insurance that's just general insurance that might not cover a lot of the things like you talked about, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that you have the money to buy it now.
Yes, I mean, absolutely. I mean, everything that you're saying, absolutely. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I guess I just, beforehand, I was just nervous. Like you said, we're told, hey, this is your job security. This is this. You don't want to mess up your retirement. You don't want to mess it. You don't want to, nobody ever says, hey, why don't you learn some things about money? They don't want us to learn about mutual funds and investments and, our stock options and things like that, because if we knew those things, then we might make better decisions for ourselves and for our families. So they have to feed us this lie of job security. And I don't know.
Yeah, then once upon a time, it could have been the organizations are where it was at, but those times have changed right now.
I believe in my mother's time, I believe that was it. That was, go to college, go get a job, get a salary, they're going to take care of you after. But it's just different now. I think the pandemic taught us that no, there is no job security. It's a myth.
Yeah. And also another thing that's happened to you after the, first few weeks is the shift in the mind shift for you.
Oh my goodness, that was
Teacher
huge.
versus a coach, right? Losing that identity as a teacher and becoming a coach is totally a game changer.
Yes.
And then after that, when you started working with the students, you saw how transformational it's going to be, this journey with every student you meet, right? Which
Yes.
is what you were dying for in the classroom.
Yes.
To
Yes.
give
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, just to see my students get the results that they're after, that their parents are after, I'm like, ooh, that was too easy. Like there's a huge mind shift change that takes place, but you kind of have to go through it. You kind of have to experience it. Like I can't just tell you, hey, do this, and this is gonna happen. I wouldn't believe it unless I was sitting right here talking to you about it. It's just amazing.
Yes. What was the hard part for you in terms of leaving this key, getting that key? Like, tell us what's the hardest?
My identity has been, for the last 15 years, I've been an educator. That and as disrespected as teachers are, as a walked on, sometimes I feel like a mat, just, that people just walk all over me as an educator, society, parents, students. There was still like a sense of pride in that. Like I still had that sense of, but I am an educator. Like that was the hardest part for me, giving my key back and knowing I wasn't going to get it back at the beginning of this school year. That was the hardest part for me. But I'm glad that was the hardest part, and not, how am I gonna get money? What about health insurance? What about retirement? What am I gonna do? Like, I'm glad that was it. I'll cry a couple tears. I'll wipe them away, after the kids get back in school in August, and my family will be okay. We'll be taken care of. That's okay. That was my issue. I'm glad. I'm proud that was my only issue here.
I'm very happy for you, because that's what a lot of teachers have struggled with, is having that financial security. They can leave with that much of worry that what you just said. Like, I'm no longer going to be an educator, but you're now a learning success coach.
Yes.
And a business owner.
Yes,
your own business owner independently. And I know I want to talk about also, during this time, you were trying to get out of school for a while in your mind, right? After COVID and all these situations have changed. You went to different ways, like out school, different things you were trying.
Oh yeah, I did.
A few things you were trying out, but none of them gave you that confidence, right?
No,
None of them gave you the solid plan to exit.
No, because see, um, you think, as a teacher, and I believe we do this as teachers, we focus on the money part. We don't get paid enough. We don't get, okay, everybody knows we don't get paid enough, okay? But that's not just it. Like it's not just that. We don't have that job satisfaction that some other, people in other professions have.
Yes.
And that's something that was a mistake I made. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get out once, I'm gonna make enough money to get up out of here. And if it's out school, I'm gonna do out school. Initially was VIP kid, I'm gonna do VIP kid. And so the first time I did exit the classroom for a year. Okay. And I did that with online teaching, the traditional online teaching platforms. I went right back to the classroom. Like I did, Kohila, because I was so miserable. I was so unhappy. Yes, I was still, I was still covering things. I was still bringing in income. I had the potential of bringing more income, but it wasn't enough. I wasn't meeting student needs. I just became another tutor or, online teacher on these platforms that a parent, parent just goes to find a whole sea of teachers, and somebody clicked on me, and I became their child's teacher for that half an hour or for that 25 minutes or for that hour. And then when they were done with me, they threw me away and they found another teacher. And that was not fulfilling at all. Not at all. The learning success coaching is completely different from that. I am the solution to my students' pain. I am the solution to that mom who comes to me crying and she doesn't know what to do. The fulfillment in that cannot be like, there's nothing like knowing that I'm the solution. Like that's me. I'm it. Coupled with money. Like you said, money is just a byproduct of that. Like I don't even really have to even focus on that anymore because I know it's coming in. I know, as I send these invoices out, I know it's coming to me. It's just that fulfillment and money together is like I should have been doing this 10 years ago. But I didn't know you existed.
I left 10 years ago. So
Yeah.
you would have caught me on the beginning of my
Right.
journey. But this is good. At least we were merged here, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And yes, it is true. That's what I live for every day.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
satisfaction.
And I think teachers, even as they're watching this, they may be like, she's not really talking about money a whole lot. That's because I don't have to talk about it a whole lot because that's not my issue anymore. Like that's not my issue. My issue is it's just results, just meeting my student needs and just giving them, as much of me as I possibly can. And I love it. I love it to death. Like as soon as I could be dog tired. I'm telling you, I could be dog tired as soon as I see one of my students pop up on, on the online platform. I'm like, yes, like, it just gives me wings. It energizes me because that's my favorite part of what I do is working with my students. That did not happen in the classroom. That I dreaded. That I'm like, oh my goodness, why did she send him to school today? Didn't he come yesterday? Like I was dreading it. It's like a 1A. It's so different. I'm excited to see my students energize me now. That did not happen in the classroom. It just did it. As much as I just loved on them and I wanted the best for them, I knew I was a part of a failing system. I knew they were a part of a failing system. I knew our community was a part of a failing system. And I just that wouldn't energize anybody. Like who would that energize? So it's completely different.
Yes. And tell I want to ask about this. Maybe a lot of teachers who's going to be listening to this will have it too. Um, you actually wanted to set this up before you left. So you were working hard, but not anymore. You don't need to because there was a
Yes.
period of time where you needed to do multitask both,
Yes.
right? But
Yes.
it didn't really take, I mean, I think you had some family stuff too going on at the back. So that took a toll too, but it was doable, right?
It was doable. I couldn't believe how doable it was. Like, because you give us so much value. You just like pour everything out, and it's almost overwhelming how much value you give because there's so many different strategies that you give us so that we can bring in this clientele. And I was worried about that initially, before we actually got started. I'm like, what about marketing? How am I going to get these? Like, I was floored by the response just from doing minor things, from making minor changes, from listening to you on at the tiniest microscopic level. I was overwhelmed by the response.
Yeah, and I believe strongly on alignment, right? When
Yeah.
you're aligned in your own self, the world aligns with you, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
everything just happens.
My daughter went to a party yesterday and she came back, and I don't really know these people. There's some friends of hers and they're connected, her parents, but her friends' parents. But she said when she came home, she said, "Oh yeah, they were talking about you. They said, yeah, you're a reading coach now." I was like, "They said coach?" Oh my goodness. But that's what I'm known for in my community.
And that comes from the results you give, right?
Yeah.
And how you serve, and that's how the money is always the byproduct of that.
Yes, yes, and I was scared of that too because I had never charged real money. Like, I mean, I didn't mind which is crazy because I didn't mind Out School and VIP Kid and Go Go Kid, all these places. Dot ABC. I didn't mind them scraping up all the money. Varsity Tutors. I didn't mind them taking all my money. But for me, just to be the one to say, "Hey, here's the price, here's the cost," and for parents to be like, "Okay," and for some of them uh who seem, were kind of nervous about it, they still came back. They're like, "When can we start?" And so there was like, I was good. I didn't have to sell anything. It was just, here am I, here's the service, here's how I can help your child. And that was it. It was just it's just amazing.
And it's very nice to know that they think of you as an investment. That was a big thing for me when 10 years ago, when I switched, I wanted everybody to think of my service as an investment. I no longer wanted to be an expense,
Yes.
thought of it as an expense.
Right.
And that's when you get to work with parents who will show that respect and value towards you. And that's where that great teamwork is what built, right? For a coach,
Right.
the team community.
One thing I think as teachers, and I had this issue too. I did think of myself as an expense, and so even when I was doing that online teaching, I called it a side hustle. My side hustle. I'm not hustling anymore. Okay, those days are gone. This is my career. But
You're-
that's that mindset that I'm an expense. So let me hustle so I can, get somebody to pay me what $25 an hour, not much at all. Let me hustle to get this money from people. And it's just like I don't know why we do that to ourselves. Because I'm like, no, I'm an investment. You invested in those Jordans on your son's feet. So if you care enough, then you can invest in me too.
Yes.
Because like you said, those kids take a mental real estate in our brains. Like they live here now. All the students I serve, they live here now.
Yes.
So that's going to cost. That's an investment.
It's real cells, working
Right.
cells.
This is real estate up here. Okay, that's not cheap. All right.
Yes, and that's, you have to feel it, right? You have to feel it. You have to retrain, relearn,
Yeah.
reimagine, like you say.
Yes, and it's crazy because we know as educators, we would do anything to make our students if we had the key to make our students successful, we would do anything. We would stay up a couple extra hours. We would knock on a couple extra doors if we knew we had a key. We know we don't have a key now. That's why we're like, forget it, I'm done. It's the end of the day, I'm finished. I'm going home. But if we knew that there was a key to make our students successful, we would use that key and we would open up the door and we would do anything to break down that door. And it's just we get
It's
to
a
do that now.
bad, it's a bad combination, right?
Yeah.
It's your paycheck. You're doing something, it's not working, and
Yeah.
you know it, and daily you do repeatedly do
You're
it.
not working for students anymore. When you're a teacher, you're not working for students. You're working
No.
for the district. You're working for the policies that are coming down. You're working for, I would say your principal, but your principal isn't even working for the school like that. Your principal is working for whatever the superintendent, tells them to do, and the superintendent is working for whatever the state tells them to do. So all of these policymakers are making decisions for us, for our students, and it doesn't work. And so it's just like at this point, we're just a puppet. We're just puppets, and we're like, I need to please my principal because she needs to please, the superintendent, and he needs to please the state, and they need to please the country. It's yeah.
It's
All you
lost.
do as a learning success coach is focus on the learning success. That's all you do. Imagine if you could focus on that in the classroom. If your only responsibility was focusing on student success and you could do it your way and you could do what you do work for each every one of your children, like it would be completely different. But unfortunately, it's not like classroom. That's why we all feel like trash.
Yes, and it's that one fits all, right?
Yeah.
When
And
it's
it doesn't
like
work. It doesn't work. I was shocked at the results that my students were getting because, when I became a learning success coach, because I'm like, wait, is that easy to make it work? Like, wait, like his reading fluency went up. I did that. Like, what? Oh, is that easy? Yes, it is that easy when you're focusing on the goal and not 100 other things that we're forced to focus on as educators.
So what would you tell someone who's like a teacher, like, right now they're in the summer holiday, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's lots of things going on in teachers' mind and as well as a lot of parents' mind because of stuff that's happening that are, safety risk, right?
Mm-hmm.
But more than that, it's like, how long is it going to go on, right? How long are we going to do this? We know it doesn't work. I mean, there has to be someone needs to do something about it.
Yeah. To a teacher who's on that brink of summer vacation, I have a different mindset when it comes to self-care. Self-care to me is taking care of myself, like for real. And it's not just, oh, let me put my feet up. To the teacher who feels like, okay, I have to go back into the classroom in 8 weeks or so. I'm only going to get 8 weeks vacation. I need to make sure I relax. I need to force myself to relax. Guess what? You're not going to relax because you know where you're going back into. Like that, there's nothing relaxing about that. You're going to sleep with one eye open like you do all school year long. You know, you're going to be dreading going back into the classroom. Why not spend this time going into something that actually works? Yeah. Parents are sitting there terrified because they know their kids can't do math. They know their kids can't multiply. They know their kids can't read. They know their kids can't write.
Or focus even. Focus.
Yes, right. And so they're like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? You could be the solution to that problem. Like you said, Kohila, it took me 5 weeks to get overwhelmed with the program because of the response from people who are like, okay, when can we start? Like, yes. 5 weeks. Summer break is what, 8 plus. If you get started right now, and I didn't even have time. Remember when I got started, I'm like, we got state testing coming up. Like literally, I just got on summer break. So I was doing this in the midst of craziness, in the midst of state testing. We got to focus. We got to get these kids scores and we got to do that. So I was doing that and this, and I was able to find success now. Like in the midst of all that, I was able to find success.
Yes.
Imagine what I will be able to do or what I am, because I'm about to hit it. But over a break, over a summer break, come on now. Like you should be, come on, in a couple of weeks, you should be on your way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then was it hard doing both? Like, I mean, some people might want to do that, right? I mean, that you know, some people might.
It was hard doing both. It was hard doing both, but it was worth it.
Yeah, that's what you told me. Yes.
I went into, I was busy as all get out. I was, but it was worth it because I'm worth it. It was worth it to me to be able to stay up a couple extra hours to give myself that confidence and that self-worth that's been sapped out of me for the last 15 years. It was totally worth it for me. And even getting started while I was still in the classroom, like that was amazing because my colleagues started to look at me. They saw my Facebook, they saw my LinkedIn, they saw what I was doing, and they looked at me differently. It's like they were like, I had people come up to me and they were like, okay, so can we talk about what you do? I have a nephew, I have a niece, I have this. I got one of my clients from that interaction. And so it's just like, I don't know. It's so worth it to not wait and to just get started. Because what are you waiting for? Like, I could find a million things to do this summer and say I'm too busy to do this. I really can. My house, I can't turn the camera because you don't want to know. You don't want to know what it looks like. But I mean, literally, I could say, we got to paint, we got to pull up this carpet. I want new carpet down. I want to do this. You can find a million excuses to not get started at any point in time. There's always a million things to do. Stop it. Just get started. Just do it. I mean, I'm so glad I did. I'd be in a completely different, I might be getting that heat back in August had I not taken the leap. Because that online teaching, all of those other platforms, it doesn't work like that. As it's not, you're not giving yourself the respect you deserve by giving all your money to these companies. Like,
someone else is profiting off of your.
And the parents don't care if you're a part of some big conglomerate company. They just want a solution. They care less if you're, one of thousands of. They don't care about stuff like that. They just want a solution. That's all they care about. They want to know if you're the solution to their child's pain, to their pain, and you are, regardless of what you've been made to feel like for however many years you've been in teaching. You are the solution. You're going to go above and beyond, just like you've been doing for X amount of years. You're going to go above and beyond for your kids one-on-one or in small groups. You're going to do it. So stop playing and just do it.
Yes. And also you had a step-by-step to follow, right? The training was so done for you.
It literally was like, do this first, second, third, fourth, fifth. And I'm like, I was like, I hope it's like that. Because if it's
you followed it right like that. You followed it really.
Literally, it was like, okay, check this out first. I said, okay, check. Okay, next, what's up? Okay. Check Like that's what it was. And then the clients came to me. Once I checked things off of my, off of the list that you give to us, it's like, oh my goodness, it's happening. It just happens.
Yes.
But you got to listen, like you got to do it.
And now you do you feel like you can take this business to any limit you want? You're in control, right?
Any
You
limit.
don't have a boss.
I'm already thinking about multiple streams within this business. Like literally, I'm already there in my thought process. Like, okay, so how else can we do that? Okay, and then we could do this, and then we could offer this, and then we could offer this. I'm already there, and that would have never happened had I not stepped out. But yeah, I just feel like to all those teachers out there who are like on the fence and are like, look, I can't afford another letdown. I can't afford another program that doesn't work. I can't, like this is not that. Like this is not that. This works if you are willing to put in the work. And like I said, I did it when I was still full-time in school. If you are willing to put in the work, you will. It's not that you might be successful. You will be successful if you are willing to put in the work to check off, okay, one, check, two, check, three. If you're willing to go down that list and to check those boxes, you will be successful. There's no failing with this. The only thing you have to do is you gotta deal with that, and that's something you do in the program too. Right at the beginning, you deal with all the mindset issues. This works. This is not your traditional, come on, conglomerate company saying, come on down and be a part of this. This works. This we're like, as learning success coaches, we're like a family. Like when you come into this thing, you become a part of our family. We just start harassing each other. Like, hey, like we'll message each other. What are you doing today? Yeah, okay. Oh, that's a good idea. I'm gonna do that too. Like we're just one big happy family, and it's just different. It just is. All I can do is say I was that teacher who was like, look, I had all the kids. All the kids were on my health insurance, not my husband's. They were all on my health insurance. My check matters. Like when as a school teacher, my check mattered. Every drop of my check mattered. But you have to lay that down, and you have to you got to go with what works, and this works. You have to stop buying those lies. Stop believing security is there because it's not there. Physically, it's not there. Mentally, it's not there. Systematically, it's not there. Come on and do something that works. It's going to change your life, and it's going to change your family's life too.
I love that you touched on our community of other coaches.
Yeah, we harass each other quite often.
Yes, but they're all there to support. That's what I wanted to build, is a network of coaches, because this can be a lonely, you have that support at school, right? Yeah. As long as some people.
Yeah, like you can knock on the teacher's door next to you. You get those teacher besties. You knock on the door like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh my God, keep it. He said that. Oh my God. Like you have that at school, and that's something. Yeah, I'm glad you said that. That was something that I was worried about. But like, yeah, we're family. Our learning success community, SuccessCodes community, we're a family, and we're growing. We're growing, but it works. I don't care if it was two of us. If it's working, yes. It works. So it's amazing.
Yeah, and you're only a text away. Yeah, or a meeting away from each other.
Guys, listen, we got guys, we got the fellas, we got the ladies, we've got the I'm not gonna say old ladies, y'all know. We have the seasoned veterans, and then we have, we got the young bucks coming up the ranks. So yes. I like to consider myself a young buck, but I don't know. This gray hair popped out. I couldn't slick it down today. It was just kept doing this. So yeah, us young bucks, yes. We're there too.
Yes,
we're so diverse. The diversity of our group is ridiculous. I'm like, oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yes, it is amazing. Yes, and I love how retired teachers are wanting to contribute again. That she doesn't want to, or he doesn't want to be that. Yeah. End their career in that way, now meaningfully ended.
That's really neat, because I was just trying to race about that classroom. But it's neat to meet people who are like, I want to continue, I want to continue this.
Because they were not fulfilled yet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the last bit of the journey as a teacher,
right.
Educator, to fulfill it. Thank you so much, Madayln. I am so excited for you. Next year, like, what is it, May 29th? We'll do another interview with you. I am
Yeah.
telling you, you are going to soar. Like, I just know you're gonna
Oh, I
fly.
know.
You're gonna fly, because in 5 weeks you just done amazing job with all the other stuff happening in your
Yeah.
life, in the school and full-time job.
Yes.
Now you have a peaceful way to educate your daughter. That's, I'm so happy.
Oh my, that's my favorite part, that I get to give her the education she deserves while I'm meeting my clients' needs. It's insane.
And you can work anywhere in the world, any time
Anywhere. I
zone.
can go anytime. I can go anywhere. I can, open up my computer and I can work. Not that I want to.
Yeah, and then
But
like you can have a structure where you work with early morning with some kids. You have your daughter's
that's
set
my thing
schedule.
now. It's like you're not gonna be as like run down, and like you're not gonna be burnt out with this. It's just you're
Oh, no.
not. Like for me, I try to push everybody into that Tuesday, Thursday schedule. And I'm just like, okay, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm full. Like
Yeah.
I
And
try to
rest
do
is
it like that.
yours.
Yeah. And
Rest.
then like and it just works. I don't know. It just works.
And for your daughter too, like you can set a schedule that's so consistent where you can spend that. Like you told me that you keep pushing her because of your other jobs and stuff.
Oh yeah. I couldn't spend any real time
Time with her.
educating my own daughter because I had 108 graders. I was trying to push. Like there was no, and I knew
Energy.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We will be in contact, but I can't wait next May 29th. Next year.
Thank you. Thank you,
We'll have another
Carla.
interview and see where you're at. Thank you,
All
madam.
right.